Hi guys, I'm Tatiana from Jinjer and you're watching Metalshop TV. In Ukraine, no. In States, yeah, but it happens like once on the tour, you know, because when we were in, I don't remember which city, but me and Vlad, we were in a mall, and then we were like we've bought stuff, and then we sat like near the entrance, and it was just like some packing or something like that, and there was a guy who came up to us. He said, Tatiana, and I said, oh, is it you? He just said, no Tatiana, but is it you? I said, yeah. Tatiana? Yeah. From Jinjer? Yeah. And he said, oh my God, okay, can I like take a picture? And me and my daughter, it's like, what? Yeah, that was strange. It was weird, but not really, like, you know, and that's good. I like being undercover, you know. I don't like to be recognized on the streets. I think pit of consciousness, because the way I wrote the lyrics to the song was that I was lack of inspiration, you know, and lack of ideas for writing the lyrics for this song. So I just found my old notes from, I don't know, when I was 16 or no, or maybe, yeah, 17 or something like that. And I found the poem in Russian. So I tried to translate it and then tried to build this shit up. And yeah, that's how it was. Like, and then I was inspired by my own poem, and then yep, done. Yeah, this song is really, that sometimes I feel like this, you know, like with multiple selves. I know that I have multiple selves. So this song is all about me. Me personally, you know, I can only speak about myself as a vocalist. I didn't change anything. I recorded and wrote lyrics just like as always, you know. I wrote lyrics right the day before I went to the studio. So basically I was unprepared as always. And the only thing that I did was improvisation. So yeah, again, improvising just because I had very little time for doing my job, you know, so that's how it is. No, there is no certain concept. There is no concept, and I'm glad that there's no such thing in this album. But the macro is definitely connected with micro lyric-wise, because yeah, I grabbed some of the lines from micro and transferred them into macro. Yeah, so, but they are not connected with each other. Ooh, hard to say. I am in between pit of consciousness and on the top. Seriously, like on the top, I really like my costume because that was not my idea, you know, and I've never imagined myself wearing. No, I imagined myself, but never imagined myself wearing a business costume on the music video. Yeah, and I really like the dancer. And but in the pit of consciousness, probably the spooky atmosphere, and I love it being black and white. Oh, I love it. And I loved my braid, you know, and the black lenses that I wore. So it's really hard to say, because they are all different, you know, and I don't know. Yeah, let me choose two, 2 out of 3. To shoot, shooting is not fun for me at all. Yeah, because it takes like the whole day. The hardest one was speed of consciousness. Yeah, because we started at I don't remember. Let it be at 4 p.m. and I came back at 7 a.m. next morning. So yeah, I've worked really hard because I was the only one who was filmed like too much. It was too much for me. So I constantly was filming here and there, you know, different locations. And but the toughest one was when we were when we filmed this scene in a pool. So it was 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning, and it was outside. So it was so fucking cold. It was cold, so I was that cold that I put my white shirt, white blouse, how you call it, like in the reverse, you know, on the reverse side. And they didn't notice it, you know. The camera guys didn't notice, and then when we shot this scene, I told them, "Hey guys, look at me! Like my pockets, like they're in there. So what the fuck?" And I don't really remember how I buttoned this blouse up, because you can imagine, like, if you put your t-shirt on the reverse side, there will be no buttons. So yeah, and I was like, how? But that was fine. And I think, like, oh, okay, that was a good idea, if, like, you know, mental health and stuff like that. So everything is just like upside down and on the reverse side in your head, you know. So that was a kind of a good symbol to it. Oh, it's a horrible day for me, because you know what, the horrible thing about being on tour, like for 2 months, for example, and when everything is going really smooth, you know, and just like working like a clock, it's a really terrible thing, because we spend 2 months in America, and every single day was the same. Can you imagine it? Like how yeah, almost 60 days, just like previous one. Oh, and I was just like, you know, okay, I'll tell you. I woke up at, for example, let it be at 11 a.m. I did interviews right from the start, you know, in 30 minutes after I woke up. Interviews, and then sound check, then meet and greet, then show, yeah, and then go to bed, you know. And every single day, because, like, you know, if you are on a nightliner, it's crazy, because this is your fucking house and you do all your job. Like, if you are not in the club, you are here in the bus, you know. If you're not in the bus, you probably would be in the club, like in a venue. And no. I need something to be stressed about. You know, I started apart from Jinjer. Like, I started on my own. So I remember my first gig with my band was probably, I don't remember whether it was on a New Year party in our school, or it was kind of a contest, like, you know, this talent contests, where I took part with my bandmates, like from my schoolmates, and we covered Lords of the Board by Guano Apes, and we were very first or second, yeah, in a line, you know, to perform. And there were, you know, old ladies playing like the harmonies, or I don't know how you call it, yeah, some traditional piece of art, music, yeah. And it lasted like the whole day, and of course we didn't get any, like, not the prize, but we didn't get to the next level, you know what I mean? And the guys were really frustrated and upset. And I was like, it's okay, because like I had to, like, I was compared to old ladies who played like the folk music, and that's not the spot that I want to be in, you know. So yeah, but there were a lot of people, of course, because they came to see their grandmothers and grandfathers, and of course my parents were there and stuff like that. So I was nervous. That was my first experience playing on the stage in front of people, being like a rock musician. Yeah. Well, first of all, this is Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, one of the creatures in mythology of Aztecs. Because everybody knows that I am a sucker for Mexico, like Mexico and Mexican culture. So I always wanted to have this serpent somewhere, and I decided to make it like to have it on my neck. Is because it's like, you know, roaring. And well, it doesn't have anything, you know, dealing with symbols and what it means to me. No, nothing. It's just the image. And but you know, when I came to the tattoo artist, he asked me, like, do you have any painkiller? And I said, wait a second. Well, you see, I have a lot of tattoos, and I worked with different artists, and I know that the tattoo artist has to have something, you know. And I replied, like, dude, like, come on, I thought you probably have to have it. And he said, what? Am I a drugstore or what? I was like, whoa, okay, this day will be fun. And he said, like, okay, you have to, like, get over it, you know. I'm like, psh, all right, I'm in. But when he started, like, we finished this tattoo in 2 sessions, I think. The first session was, I don't remember, maybe 7 hours, or maybe I'm lying. Maybe all in all it was 7 hours. Yeah, maybe 4 hours and 3 hours. I hope so, or not. I don't remember, but it wasn't that painful at all. So I think it's very like, it's a very personal thing, yeah, individual. I'm still thinking, like, to move to Canada, because it's a Europe, but on a different continent, you know. Yeah, but you know, I'm not sure if I want to live in Japan, but Japan is really good to be in, you know, because you really feel safe and comfortable, and you are surrounded with people who are really humble, and they are well brought, like they have, like, well, good upbringing, you know. And yeah, it's hard to say. And in South America it was great too. So I don't know, I think Canada, maybe Canada, let it be Canada. I am understanding, intelligent, kind, sensitive, which is good for me, I think. Yeah, I have a very strange sense of humor, which is good for me too. I'm fine with it. I'm talented. I am loving. I can be caring when I love someone really, really, really. And I'm supportive. And there are a lot of good things that I can tell about myself. But if we're talking about negative, I'm procrastinating. I am really like I'm afraid of many things. I'm shy, not in a good way, you know. No, I mean, like, I'm too shy. I think sometimes I even cannot speak out or talk to a stranger, you know, if I need something. Easy to hurt if people if they are rude to me, like I'm about to cry maybe later in my apartment somewhere. And there are many, and I don't want to focus on them, please. Yeah, I can be rude too. I can be rude if I'm pissed off. I'll be like very aggressive.